Okay, guys, so welcome to the quick Saturday update on the events that happened yesterday. They were pretty much in a line what we were expecting for most part. We left one option for a possibility that we exhibit lower levels, and that exactly what happened. So let me go over the main couple of cryptos that we track and to see what's going on, and then we will look for a member Ethereum Bitcoin chart, and also I will look TIA because I'm interested also to enter there. So I will show you that as well. So let's start with the Bitcoin um, um, US dollar chart. So as you know, we looked for a potential move down in triangle, still for the wave C, and that pretty much happened. We are seeing an attempt of Bitcoin to go higher, and that's quite possible it will happen. Of course, we need to wait for that, that this correction higher in potential D wave has 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up in D wave, and then final push down in E wave before we start moving higher. So this is still in line with the consolidation that we are tracking. So wave count invalidation of a triangle is here. So we don't want to see that prices of Bitcoin goes lower. Even if it, in the case it goes lower, I will still consider this to be WXY towards lower level, but somehow I don't think that will happen. That's my kind of a first instinct. I do think we're gonna get DNE, and then we're gonna move higher towards 85 to 87k or even 100, because we have to start labeling this as the green wave tree, although it doesn't match much Ethereum. So on a daily chart, it will still look that we are in this consolidation, sideways consolidation. Equality of time spent in wave 2 and wave 4 will be around April 28th, so we will track that. And it's possible that we spend a week or two more in this triangle before we start moving towards higher levels. So for now, our analysis on Bitcoin was correct. We went lower significantly yesterday afternoon, probably on the geopolitical news, and also probably market tanked. I was not at home. I was actually out in town, and I didn't look what happened on macro. So we can also look at what happened on stocks, and let's see what happened there on the S&P, 1.4, not much down, 1.46, Nasdaq 1.66. So Nasdaq also inched a touch lower, but this is not something which will scare me for a potential 5-way move, and then we can look for either a deeper correction or something more significant to the downside. This is really not much if you look the higher time frame charts. Maybe even here we are in some type of triangulation. We will see, of course, on Monday, and then after it opens, it might continue higher. Um, Dow Jones also fell 1.28%. So from the perspective of the chart, we are still within this three-way move. Potential supports on Dow Jones are also here and a touch lower. So we will look also what will happen with stocks there. Rates also went lower a little bit, 1.42%, which probably makes this to be a corrective. We are on the RSI higher, so we might start in rates to go further in consolidation. 786 are something that we look from the fib ratio perspective, and 786 it's a little bit still higher. So I don't want to see rates on 10-year yields go further higher, because that will mean that we will probably test a new high and go even further towards higher level. Dollar went higher because of the risk off, of course. It is still going towards the target I gave you 2 weeks ago. Also, interestingly, gold spiked higher towards 2,400 and then reversed. So this is still looks like an impulsive third wave. So we might expect a little bit more higher prices before a correction comes in gold. So from that perspective, oil also didn't do much. Copper 0.13 and XLE, which is the ETF, went into a corrective pullback. Is it 100K or BTC Wave 5 target? Yeah, so that depends. As I said, if you label what is the problem from the Elliott wave perspective? Okay, so let me address that. This consolidation needs to have something similar in this wave 3. Okay, so I was waiting what the Bitcoin will do here. If it started to move higher, then I could pair this small part of a correction with something down here. But now this consolidation becomes too big to be paired with anything before. Okay, so usually you want to see some similarities between the corrections, especially wave 4 and wave 2. And now this correction in the wave 4, which I was thinking it's going to go a touch higher here to 85, 86K. You cannot pair that with anything here. Okay, now this consolidation, you can pair it only with this flat here in Bitcoin, which now makes a sense because they have some similarity in developments. So that's why I will discard the potential still ongoing wave 3, green wave 3 to 85, then a pullback, and then 100K. So we have to go now, in my opinion, that this is correction, which will pair with this one. And then we most likely go to a next target for the wave 5 towards 100K. So I hope that's clear. So that's the problem from the Elliott wave perspective. Of course, this correction is still didn't unfolded, and that will be pairing this higher degree correction, which might start when we get close to 100K. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So let's look now Ethereum. So just to finish with the Bitcoin. So for now, the chart works nicely for us. And from that perspective, we just need wave D and wave E for a potential completion of the triangle, and then continuation higher. So let's look what's going on Binance Coin, which is one of the also large caps. I looked yesterday for a potential flat. If you look the video, which actually unfolded, so we had this 335. You cannot see the price section, and I don't know why Binance doesn't display it. We are already some around here in Binance, I think 498. So this will be 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and potential 5 waves down for a flat. What is important is that we stay above these levels here for the wave count to be still valid, and I think we are still within that line for a potential move from here higher. So let's look what happened on Ethereum, dollar. So same thing. It went lower as we think it will. It also tested again this nice trend line. So this trend line was so phenomenal for now. This trend line, which is a base channel of a secondary intermediary wave. So this is the base channel of the primary wave, and this is the base channel of a secondary wave. And as you can see, we did hold very nicely twice there, and yesterday the second time. So going on a higher time frame, as you can see it, I will remove this time ratio because we still have time towards 28th of April at 1618. So we still have time to develop from here wave D and wave E and then continue higher. So I can remove now this time analysis just for you, so we can see better the chart. Let me do this. Yeah, so the chart now is more visible. Of course, we don't want this wave count invalidation to be crossed in Ether. So if we see price action moving lower, then this becomes a three-wave correction in a complex manner. If it's not, which I don't think it will for now, I think we're going to climb up in a D and E and then continue higher. So for now, everything is functioning more or less as we were looking. I was more biased towards lower level, as you know. I was looking this reactionary thing on the upside, and I couldn't um, see 5 waves up, but anyhow, I was keeping the option as well if this continues higher that the triangle is already done, and I showed you also the option that if it's not, which actually happened, and I was more biased towards lower levels, which actually unfolded. So all good from the perspective of analysis. We didn't have a confirmation on the upside, so that's fine. We didn't stuck with any position taking here on the upside, and we actually looked for lower levels that happen. So in taking some type of leveraged position, I will do only here when I see some confirmation. This is still for position for holders or investors or a position trading for Ether to continue higher. So I will not take any leveraged basis. Yeah, so Ethereum has a lower, has one more leg to go. So if you see the Ethereum, we still don't have a green wave 3 up. While in Bitcoin, the green wave 3 towards 100K, it's next. So that is something which you cannot easily reconcile, because putting here a big flat, I don't think it will be wise, because that will be too big for me for the wave 2, and then these two will be aligned. In that respect, I think that Ether has a little bit of a discrepancy in this green wave 3, 4, and 5, while the Bitcoin, and I have to think how to reconcile that, while the Bitcoin has already probably, we can anchor this green wave 3 here. So that is something I tried to deliberate yesterday, but I couldn't find solution. And I have to think a little bit more about how this solution of getting these two together aligned, which I would like to have more than this discrepancy. This discrepancy means that actually Ether will go up in the green wave 3, make a pullback in the green wave 4, and then go towards higher. So it is possible that in one moment, I'm just saying there is a possibility in one moment Ether shoots up higher while Bitcoin stays sideways or in a correction lower. That might be something with a maybe ETF or something. I don't know. I don't know for now. But I don't like much this alignment because they're too far apart. They're one wave, which is 20-30% in value. They are apart. Okay, so let me go over a couple of other things. Let's look what's going on Solana. Solana actually hit our levels mentioned yesterday, even went through it, which is normal when you have, I mean, my levels was 151, we went to 140 and broke here. So which is, with sharp moves, it is normal that you have this type of things. So I'm okay with it. And also on Solana, we need to look at RSI. I mentioned that yesterday, it's coming lower. So maybe it will be prudent for us that, and as we did, we label this as blue wave 4, which kind of also aligns with the Bitcoin with one more move up. Okay, so wave count invalidation on Solana is here at 117. Okay, so this is a wave count validation, and I think actually that we came to almost ideal pullback in WXY to pair this wave 2 here, and the RSI now shows potential reversal towards higher level, which will agree with one more move on the upside. Any moves further lower will challenge that wave count. Of course, we might test 1618, but there is something that usually you don't want to see, or 618 on a retracement level. That will be a very deep wave 4. It can happen, but it's very rare. I mean, usually what you want to see for the wave 4 testing is 50% and 38.2%. We tested 50% and roll back a bit higher. So this wave count for me, it's almost perfect in a sense of how this unfolded. And then, of course, if I want to have something on Solana, it will be good that I do see some type of a confirmation in 5 waves up, testing these levels. And then for me, this wave 2 pullback will be an entry, and also this wave 2 pullback might be an entry. So what I need to see is some type of a reaction on the upside in 5 waves here in Solana for me to confirm at least testing of this 184 or even 200. Okay, so I will wait a little bit until Solana makes 5 waves up, or test once more these levels and then reverses on the upside. So we will see. This correction now, it's almost perfect. It has 3 waves down, 1 wave up, which is the X wave, and 3 waves down, which is a perfectly for a complex double zigzag. So ABC, X, ABC. And then if we get 5 waves up, it will be almost perfect setup for a potential further move on the upside. Solana is also came to our target. It went a touch lower, but as I said, in cryptos, reactions are pretty, sometimes are you see overreactions there because of selling, sudden selling. Are the algos are selling, or traders? You don't know, probably algos. So in that respect, I do like what I saw also on Solana. So Matic, just to address that, also is touching, maybe I changed this wave count to this E wave. We still didn't cross, so this still can be 1, 2, but this is a very deep correction. I want to see some reactionary on the upside for now, for a potential move higher in Matic. The other ones are okay that we look. Litecoin moves lower as we're thinking. Everything that we looked most likely are moving towards our potential targets, and we will go over that in the streams. ICP also made a nice pullback towards lower levels. So potentially this might be a flat, or we stop here and continue higher, as I was talking yesterday. So depends, one of these two might develop. So any of these two will be a potential entry for me as well, as I'm looking what is going on there. And I also picked Celestial yesterday and posted into the crypto community channel, and let me just find it. I don't know why it's here. It's TIA. Yeah, TIA is now 10% on the upside. It's basically tested our levels, also with a little bit overreactionary move. So we came to equality, which I was looking for, and the support, and the RSI on daily make even below 22, which is a very favorable for a possible reversal. So now, if you look, TIA made a nice move on the upside post achieving these levels. It went to 1618, which is a touch higher than equality, but as I said, that's normal. I mean, sometimes you will get it exactly to the point, sometimes it can overshoot, and that's especially 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 you can see that in cryptos. So for now, for me, this correction is most likely over, and what I'm waiting on a smaller time frame is to see what this one will do here. So I need to see 5 waves up for me to be interested and actually buying that um, um, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want the test of this level and pullback. It's buyable for me for the higher degree wave 1 and 2, and then that wave 2 is buyable for the further move on the upside. So I'm very much observing this one because it came almost ideally to our levels yesterday, and I think it will be a good entry if we see 5 waves up and a pullback. So let me go over Ethereum Bitcoin, which is the interest of one of our members. So I don't see much there. So Ethereum Bitcoin is still in this channel. We are testing these lower levels here. The question why Ether is weak. I don't think that Ether is weak. I just think that the hype for Bitcoin halving is much more currently driving the Bitcoin higher than the Ether. So I think this is the only narrative. And of course, we have potential Ether ETF. When that comes along during the end of 2024, that will push this definitely toward Ether after the halving passes. Okay, so I'm still looking this. This is not so for now. Correction is very, I will say, you can even make the case that this is a 1, 2, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. We test these levels and then we correct, and then we will see what will happen. So W, X, Y need to stop here. I don't want this correction to be larger. And let's do this on Ether. And also RSI is making divergence. So I cannot, I mean, this is very tricky to navigate here. Let's see how this one, equality is there, so that's fine. So we are there. So I will allow maybe Ether to go a touch lower as long as we are in this area, but then I want to see a sharp move on the upside. And until Ether breaks higher from this channel, I don't want to look for any Ether strength over Bitcoin before this event happened. Okay, so that will be assessment currently on the Bitcoin and Ether. If you want to swap your Ether for Bitcoin, I mean, definitely here you have lower prices. Of course, you will get less Bitcoin because it's stronger. So it is what is wise, potentially maybe to wait correction and then do it for some part of it. And if it's continue higher, then you can do it in a more favorable prices. I mean, that's potentially how I will do it with my holdings if I have it. So yeah, what we can look more, guys. We can look more for this. Let's see what happens on the cryptos. Is there any opportunity? We looked on all of these corrections here. Yeah, so this one came to potential wave 4. Oh, this one went below my price. So this one is also potentially finished the correction. RSI is very low. I was looking for a little bit that it's gonna stall here around 200 moving average. It passed. I don't know what do you mean about warning, but you mean the levels. The levels breaking channel will be here at 0.044, somewhere around in this area. Okay, you see it on the chart. Yeah, so if we go below that, then, but I even if this is a 5-wave move, I think we will test this area and then makes some type of a correction at least towards 0.061, in my opinion. Yeah. So where I was at yeah, Arbitrum made a bigger pullback that I was anticipating. I was thinking we're gonna go here and stop around this level. It went lower. So I will also observe this one for a 5 waves up and a pullback and a continuation higher. So AVAX, it's continuing lower, which was my best case, that this is some type of a flat towards this level, and the RSI is lower, which kind of we already think it's gonna do. I think there is more time. It's gonna test probably this before it starts to move higher. Fetch also tested my levels here. So now this wave 4 looks comparable with this wave 2. So fetch is something, when this RSI comes lower, is also something to look for. So I think fetch will look also here, and I think the levels are now corresponded with our levels as well. Let me just find it. I have to clear out this list. Okay, it's here. Yeah, so it came exactly to our zone. As you can see here, I stressed that 2 days ago that this zone, blue zone, might be perfect, and we are exactly there. So anything impulsive from here, it might have a little bit trouble to pass through this resistance, but 5 waves up and a pullback will open the door for higher levels on this one as well. So we came exactly to the levels we also searched for this one as well. So pretty significant levels on markets, which are good for us. Especially if we see 5 waves up, there is a lot of potential entries for the continuation of this uptrend if we see 5 waves up from here. So let me go through this list again, and let me see if there is something significant. Fill, it's a bit bigger, so I will go with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is a wave 2 now. And I was looking for that in my observation. If you look the video from 2 days, this was my price target for fill as well. IMX also for a potential pullback. Maybe it's still not done because this wave 2 was big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already have 5 waves, so this one might go higher, but stayed like an X wave, but stay in this consolidation. Injective, also nice pullback. I think we looked for that as well. Link, we looked for that for a long time. RNDR, also a nice pullback down there. Say, we looked yesterday exactly to our target. So A, B down in C in flat. So I mentioned that I think yesterday, and the RSI is lower. So this one is also to look for. In the chart request, I think I mentioned this target. This one, tau, reversed. So see how this is dangerous. It kind of shoots higher, and I said when we go 2 days ago that I want to see a continuation, because I know the trick. I mean, I'm 15 years, 20 years in this. So sometimes when this starts to give you a kind of a potential breakout, you want to see this channel breakout. Until you see it, it's not certain that it's going to continue. And that's exactly what I said. And what happened, we went lower. So most of the guys, which was kind of a buying this breakout higher in hoping that we will see higher levels, actually got swept away by this move lower. And TIA, of course, we look TIA now. So I look this one to potentially start giving the 5 waves up. So yeah, so all good, guys. From my perspective, I think we reached very crucial levels as we were searching for most of these cryptos. And if we see 5 waves up here on Bitcoin and also Ethereum, TIA, also Fetch, and a couple of others, which I showed you, we will have a nice opportunities ahead. So as I said, I'm going to go and return to Bitcoin to close this stream. 5 waves up, a pullback in a wave D and E will open the possibility we continue higher. And how this will unfold, we will see a smaller 5 waves testing this previous B wave, and that is usually like that. Small pullback here in 3 waves testing this line of a triangle, and then continuation towards the orange wave 1. And then depends which type of a trader you are. If you already have Bitcoin, that's completely fine. You can add on a spot basis, but on a leveraged basis, for me, the trade will possibly be here after I see some type of confirmation with small stops, and definitely here with the small stops for a larger move higher. So for leveraged basis, as you know, it's a dangerous game. So you have to know what you're doing in that respect. But I'm just telling you how do I approach these things and what is here, what is tradable for me. On the other hand, on TIA, for me, 5 waves up and a pullback, I will pull a trigger on it because I think correction is most likely done, and that I think it's gonna produce maybe a nice move higher. So any other comment, guys, questions or anything else for this extra stream on Saturday? Okay, guys, so no questions. So I wish you a nice rest of the weekend. And of course, I'm going to monitor what will happen today and tomorrow. I don't think much will happen. Anyhow, you never know. But let's see what will happen on Monday. And of course, we're going to continue with our schedule. I will work tomorrow with groups and categories, as I said, and we will start looking at more and more into the weeks to come. So thank you, guys, and have a nice rest of the weekend. Bye bye.